What's up, everybody? Kind of a mixed bag of action today. We have kind of a slight slow downtrend for the first, 6 or 7 hours of the day before a random sell-off in the last 45 minutes to an hour. And we'll go ahead and break it down and show you how we got there. So to start off the day, we have on the supply side, nothing too close to us at the open. We have this 2-hour zone that was created a couple of days ago overnight. And we have a 45-minute zone that was created right inside of it that looked pretty good, so I went ahead and noted it. We rejected off of both of those zones. And then we have a 2-hour zone right at 46.31 above it. On the demand side, we have good 30-minute zone right here that was created at the end of day yesterday. That's a perfect setup. Then also another solid setup below it that we've been watching for a couple of days now. It's just 3-hour zone at 45.45, which we did get down into it, but I didn't take a trade off of it, which I'll explain here in a bit. Everything else below that, not really too concerned with. We have a bunch of demand zones from this 2-week uptrend, but don't plan on taking any trades off them today because I didn't think we'd get down there, which we did not. All right, we do have this orange level at 45.85. That's just a key zone that I'm trying to use as support. You can see that we rejected off of it a couple times a few months ago, and it acted as resistance. 1 good rejection, 2 good rejection, probably a couple rejections here. So we got 3 solid rejections off of it. Typically, when a level is that strong, once we do break over it, it will try to act as support, and it did a couple days ago. Let's see, back here. Got a couple solid balances off of it, so that's confirmed that it is support. And then yesterday we had a decent sell-off into it, and it broke it, but it quickly recovered. So that's a good sign that buyers want to stay above that level. And then, of course, we have our overnight highs right here at 46.12, and overnight lows, which was right before the open. Go back at 45.88. So those are supply zones I'm looking for. These are the demand zones I'm looking for. And let's go ahead and kick it off. To start off, we started right above this 30-minute demand zone and fell right into it. For the first 30 minutes, we consolidated in the top half of it before this kill candle with some large sell volume brought it all the way down to the bottom of the zone. At that point, it's kind of invalid for me. I want my zones to reverse, touch it, reverse off of it pretty quick and grind up, then maybe come down with some below 5-minute sell volume or anything above a 5-minute time frame where I can take a long position off of it. But once it gets pretty deep down into the zones, they tend to be less reliable, so I kind of mark them as invalid at that point. So I had this as invalid. Some people might have still played off of it. You did have a higher low here after you touched the bottom, and had probably a good 10-15 point scalp off of that. I didn't take it. So at this point, like I said, I marked this as invalid, and I'm not done for the day, but I know I'm kind of a ways away from taking a trade because we have supply zone all the way up here at 46.16. So if we can make a 20-point move up there and look weak, then I can take a short position. Or if we fall, I don't know, 30, 40 points down into this demand zone and we look strong, then I can take a position there. Looking for that for the short, this for a long, or if we do create an intraday supply or demand zone and we retest it, then I can go ahead and take a position off of that. A good example is 45-minute supply zone that we created at the end of the day. We didn't retest it, but if we come back up and retest it, I'll be glad to take a position off of that. If that was made here at about, I don't know, noon, we came down, retested it, and it looked weak, I would take a short position off of that. But, until those, that intraday demand or supply is created, these two zones are all I'm looking for. Everything else is just a wash here and here. So we did come up a little bit. We actually went back above this key level, back above overnight highs. Probably trapped some people here because we did look strong. I thought maybe we actually would go up and test the supply zone up here, but we didn't. Buying just kind of disappeared. I don't know where they went, but that tells me that this was a trap. And we trickle down, consolidate here for a little bit, and then fall down deeper into the zone and actually break it. So at about noon, we broke below it, and that's enough for me to say it's gone. So that demand zone is now nowhere to be seen. That was at about noon, and for the next, I don't know, hour and a half, we try to make new lows. I mean, we do, but we just can't do much with it, right? Let me show you on the 1 minute chart. Little trap here. Yeah, so we're making new lows. New intraday low, couldn't do much with it. New low, couldn't do much with it. New low, you just couldn't do much with it. And so what they did was ran it up over here. You know, we actually had some pretty good volume here. And then I can only imagine how many people took a long position seeing this moving, thinking it's going to go to the moon. And sure enough, it doesn't. It just traps people. And once again, kind of like what it did over here, this is more of an extreme version, but it trickled down from there. And broke this low right here and just trickled all the way down into this 3-hour zone and then some. I didn't take a long entry into this zone because there was so much selling pressure. One, two is so late in the day. You know, it's about 10 to 15 minutes before the close. I try not to take too many trades off of that, or any really, just because it tends to be very volatile and less predictable. You know, I've had a few losses off of it, and so I think I've learned my lesson from those. So I'm going to go ahead and stay away from them. But, you know, we're about halfway through that demand zone. I'm not going to go ahead and write that off because it was a perfect setup and it should be a strong zone. And we bounced off it so far a little bit, but we'll see how the overnight session holds there. You know, if we do bounce off of it, and maybe we can play a position off of it in the morning, I'll go ahead and do that, or take a short off of this 45-minute supply zone that was created right here. So no trades for me today. Just kind of watched it. You know, there was no solid entries for me. No higher low in the demand zone, no lower high in supply zone, nothing like that. So I went ahead and just watched it. It was definitely pouring for the first 6 and 7 hours before we had that massive sell-off. But yeah, a little boring action before that. It just kind of sat in this demand zone, and that wasn't enough for me to go ahead and take a long position off of it. But we'll see what tomorrow brings us, and we'll see if we can get a long position off of this zone or this 45-minute supply zone here. Until then, I'll see you guys later.